When the heavy bronze doors of the Vatican close in the dead of night, the candlelight in the corridors flickers in the draught, seemingly foretelling an uneasy fate. Within this palace, filled with both the murmurs of prayer and the rasp of sharpening blades, a woman with hair like spun gold and a countenance as pure as marble gazes silently at a ring engraved with the Borgia crest. In the legends rendered sensational by later centuries, this ring concealed a deadly poison, and the woman was the femme fatale who lured men into the abyss. She was Lucrezia Borgia, one of the most controversial and thoroughly demonized figures in history. Tonight, by the rhythmic flicker of the hearth, let us step into her true life, a story of walking along the edge of the precipice, seeking redemption amidst misunderstanding, and ultimately finding inner peace through art and faith. We are here to salvage the most tender Borgia, the one lost in the mists of prejudice. The name Borgia in 15th century Italy was in itself a complex symbol, a blend of the sacred and the profane. When Lucrezia was but a child playing under the warm Roman sun, she did not yet grasp that the fissure leading to power had already quietly opened. Her father, the man who would become Pope Alexander VI, possessed a lust for power akin to a ravenous beast. At 13, Lucrezia donned a heavy brocade wedding dress for the first time. It was not merely a coming-of-age rite, but a transaction thrusting her into an unfamiliar world. She soon discovered that her so-called husband was but a temporary footnote in her father's political grand strategy. When his utility was exhausted, the marriage contract was torn like scrap paper. This profanation of emotion became the first unhealable scar of her life. She came to understand that within this gilded cage, clarity of mind was a heavy price to pay. If her first marriage was a tentative youthful trial, the second became the most brutal rite of passage in Lucrezia's life. She fell in love with her second husband, Alfonso. In those brief days escaped from the clutches of power struggles, she caught a glimpse of the possibility of ordinary happiness. However, the cold logic of power never permits the luxury of warmth. When Alfonso's existence obstructed the ambitions of her brother, Cesare, death manifested as a silent blade in the night. Lucrezia watched helplessly as the man she loved was strangled in his bed, while the assassin sneered in the corridor just a door away. That night, the Roman rain poured in torrents, unable to wash away the blood on her hem, nor the desolation in her soul. She did not scream. Instead, in extreme silence, she buried the innocent girl she once was deep within her heart and began to seek solace in faith. In the spring of 1502, Lucrezia married for the third time, destined for distant Ferrara. What appeared before the people of Ferrara was a woman of exquisite poise and a gentle gaze. Lucrezia understood that this was her final chance to establish a domain of her own, one untainted by the scent of blood. She became Ferrara's most discerning patron of the arts, supporting poets and painters alike. She began to aid refugees and restore dilapidated convents. The people here discovered that the rumored femme fatale possessed a heart as compassionate as the Virgin Mary. This self-respect did not stem from the power of the Borgia name, but from the gravity of her life as an independent woman. In her later years, Lucrezia shed all flamboyance, living like a sequestered monk. Following the sudden death of her father and the fall of her brother in battle, the Borgia dynasty collapsed in an instant. She became the sole surviving symbol of dignity for her family. She did not choose to flee. Instead, through a path of self-redemption, she bore the weight of the mud slung at her kin. She wrote in her diary, "I have seen the depths of hell and the phantoms of heaven. Now, I only wish to hear the whisper of God in the sound of flowing water." In extreme solitude and restraint, she became a classical portrait of philosophical reflection. Her gaze was no longer sharp, but like the waters of an autumn lake, deep, serene, and possessed of a vastness that had seen through the rise and fall of empires. The summer of 1519, at 39 years of age, Lucrezia Borgia peacefully closed her eyes. Before her passing, she requested only a simple wooden bed and a bouquet of jasmine. Thousands of commoners took to the streets of their own accord to mourn their holy lady. Even though later history books continued to depict her as a synonym for evil, one need only look at the gentle undertones of the paintings she patronized to understand where the truth resided. She did not conquer the world with poison, she conquered her own starry sky with compassion. With that serene lingering light, she illuminated the most sinister yet most authentic corner in the shadows of the Renaissance. The story of Lucrezia Borgia thus draws to a gentle close amidst the whispers of the Ferrara courtyards. She teaches us that no matter how much dust covers your name, inner purity is your only eternal home. Just as she sat alone by candlelight during the coldest Roman winters, searching for an anchor of existence. Perhaps you, too, are currently navigating a life where you are misunderstood. But pray, believe that within every life, there is a blank space belonging only to you, one that needs no definition. May the serenity and resilience of Lucrezia Borgia be transformed into the softest silk within your dreams. Good night, and may sweet dreams attend you until the dawn.